They came over here cursing, that they're not speaking to us with no kind of respect, you know, and they basically attacked us.
Watson shared this video with me. He says his girlfriend videotaped the incident.
There was never no music playing out the car. There was never no music.
As Watson showed me the video, he says the officers did not say he was under arrest and that they repeatedly hit him and Ratley.
He never said anything to anybody that we was under arrest. He basically just put his hands on my stepfather and used force that was unnecessary.
I showed the video to Captain Cooney, who had this to say after viewing it.
With the arrest process,
Ratley's attorney, Glenn Hammond, says his client will plead not guilty to the charges.
But that video is exceptionally troubling. From what I've seen, it looks like Samuel's actually placing his cigarette down, not flicking one at an officer, and then trying to walk away from the officer to the safety of his home, and he denies having music on.
According to these court documents, one of the officers says Ratley pushed him, causing bruising, swelling, and pain to his right ring finger. Ratley was also charged with open container and unreasonable noise. Hammond says he has a private investigator looking into the incident, and he's concerned that Ratley has had more interaction with Troy police officers since the incident. According to these traffic violations, Ratley was ticketed for window tint violations the day after the arrest on 8th and Ingalls Avenue, and was ticketed on the 11th at Ingalls and Orr Street and 7th and Ingalls for more traffic violations.
The police may be watching his house, but at this point we're going to scrutinize all of their activities. I don't think it's a complete coincidence that he's been stopped for traffic violations twice since.
Here is the arrest report, which charges Brian Houle with disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. But Houle says something totally different happened. He's painting a very different picture for us, and now he's charging police brutality. We caught up with that 40-year-old after he filed charges against Officer Kyle Jones of the Troy Police Department this morning. Now you can see he has two black eyes, he has cuts to the side of his head, and he's wearing an arm brace. He says these are all injuries he suffered overnight after he claims to have been attacked by Officer Jones. He says it started with an argument on Facebook, and he tells us that led to a heated phone conversation Sunday night, and then he says the officer came out to his street and was snooping around his car with a flashlight overnight. Houle claims when he went out to see why, the officer followed him back to the porch and assaulted him.
And he kept hitting me with a flashlight, with a boot. He kicked me, punched me. I saw another patrol officer come up, and I was like, wow, it's my saving grace. And it wasn't my saving grace. That patrol officer is second on the scene. He took and dragged me to the concrete and smashed my face into the concrete.
March 1st in South Troy. You see 19-year-old Jordan Novak with a dark shirt. He has a ponytail. He's in the store with another man who's allegedly drunk, refusing to leave and harassing customers. Police are called. An officer is arresting the other man. You can see Novak get involved, either interfering or helping with the situation, as he claims. You see him put his arms up as the officer then takes him outside. Here's the video from the outside of the store. You see police pull the other man out. Then Novak has his arms out as he and the officer come out. He ends up hitting the car and sitting on the ground. Novak was later charged with obstruction, resisting arrest, and a felony for intentionally damaging the parked car. Prosecutors later dropped that criminal mischief charge. Joe Ahern is Novak's attorney.
What concerns me about the video is the flagrant nature of the misconduct of the police department, and the fact that despite an internal affairs complaint filed by an attorney, they still haven't taken any corrective action. There's been no accountability at all. When a kid stands there and puts his hands in the air when he's told he's under arrest and he gets thrown out the front door and then thrown into a parked car and then charged with damaging the parked car, I certainly think that's inappropriate.
His face was all bloodied up. He was covered in blood, and when I came out, they were hitting him with nightsticks.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet.
When I came out, they were hitting him with nightsticks. He is an RPI student. What reason does an RPI student have to get hit with anything? No, he's just all bloodied up.
He's up. He's just covered in blood. You're another target. Get out with open container. Goodbye. 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 Get in your house. Start renting. You can get in your house then. Goodbye. Move.
This is the notice of claim filed against the city of Troy and the Troy Police Department. It alleges that a former Hudson Valley student was assaulted as officers allegedly used excessive force and tased him.
The police continued hitting me and yelling, "Get your hands behind your back," even though they had both my hands behind my back.
In this notice of claim against the city of Troy and Troy Police Department, it alleges that Davis was falsely arrested and that officers assaulted and tased him. He was originally charged with resisting arrest and jaywalking, but those charges have been dropped.
Lawsuits will be brought, as they should be, and judgments will be entered. And what happens then is that the people of the city of Troy are going to have to pay these things.
Last year, taxpayer dollars foot the bill for a settlement of around $90,000 in a lawsuit where James Foley claimed officers used excessive force against him. Kinlan has another lawsuit pending against the city and 3 Troy officers. His client claims police used excessive force during an incident at St. Mary's Hospital in 2011.
When it happens again and again and again, then almost anybody can discern a pattern forming, and that's alarming.
Burns was arrested yesterday and charged with attempted robbery of a police officer, which is a felony. He showed us what he taped on his cell phone that night. This is the cell phone video provided to us by Karif Burns of the night of the melee at Kokopelli's nightclub in Troy. He says the crowd was calm, but not sure about what was going on. Burns was there when officers struck Rashawn Donnelly using what they call standard pain compliance techniques. He says by then, people were screaming.
I got hit myself. I felt like one of the officers tried to knock the camera out of my hand. So I got hit in my shoulder. I had my arm up the whole time. I got hit in my shoulder.
Burns says a familiar face hit him with a nightstick.
I'm pointing at him, yelling at him like, "I know you. I went to school with you. Why are you hitting me?"
But Troy police point to this nightclub security video. Burns is charged with attempted robbery, a felony, for allegedly trying to take an officer's baton. He's also facing a misdemeanor obstruction charge. He says he actually had made an effort to keep the crowd calm that night.
So what crowd control mechanism was used aside from hitting people with their nightsticks?
The melee resulted in 9 arrests so far and accusations of police brutality. Attorney Terry Kinlan is handling 2 cases unrelated to Kokopelli's that allege excessive force and false arrest at the hands of Troy police. He says his office is getting new complaints about Troy police about every day.
That doesn't mean that the claims are sufficiently serious to support legal action, but they're certainly indicative of the fact that something very peculiar is going on in the city of Troy with the police department.